this week's chapter of One Piece, the various kings and queens of the One Piece world gather to journey to Mariejois so that they can take place in Reverie, a grand conference between all of the major kingdoms of the One Piece universe. And Luffy ends up doing battle with the rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This week's chapter of One Piece can be defined in one word, and that is cameo. There were character cameos from a lot of classic One Piece characters in this week's chapter. Vivi, her father, the people from her kingdom, frickin' Walpole, of all people, actually showed up in this chapter. Not only that, but we get to see the return of everybody's favorite little douchebag, Stelly, otherwise known as King Stelly. You remember that little bastard who was hanging out with Sabo during his arc? Yeah, it looks like he's also going to be heading towards Reverie. In fact, he's actually hanging out in Logtown, and he's pretty disappointed at the hotel they're staying in because they can see the gallows where Goldie Roger was actually killed. I can't wait to see more of this little bastard, and hopefully he will get his comeuppance as this brand new arc gets ready to go on. The rest of the chapter, we get to see a ton of other characters we haven't seen for a long time. A lot of the people from Dressrosa are going to be reappearing, such as Viola and Rebecca. Not only that, but you have Princess Mansherry. You have frickin' King Elisabello, who is also getting ready to go to this place. All of the people from the Kano Kingdom who may or may not actually make it to Reverie. But it's really damn awesome to see all of these characters and all of the royalty coming together as they head to this big conference. Obviously, a lot of things are going to get shaken up, mostly from Vivi's father. I feel that he is going to ask a little bit more about the poneglyphs and the erased history of the world, which is so important to the background of the One Piece series. So, the first chunk of the chapter is just reintroducing you to a lot of old characters, as well as a lot of new characters, a lot of royalty that we actually haven't seen before from some characters. This is one dude who actually has a clock goatee, like there's a small and a big hand. It's ridiculous, and the only type of thing that could actually fly in the One Piece universe. But I really liked that stuff. The rest of the chapter, however, is where things start to mellow out a little bit until we get this one big bombshell right at the very end. So, we get to see that Luffy and their crew are still on their way to go after Sanji, and his entire crew is just completely knocked out. And that's because they just went and did a big free-falling technique from the back of this giant elephant, the island of Zou. So everyone's completely exhausted, but again, Luffy's spirits are incredibly high as he gets ready to go on this adventure. And we also get to learn that they have a stowaway on board. It looks like Carrot is going to be joining them on their mission. And I think, honestly, this is a really good decision. Out of all of the Mink Tribe members, I think that she looks like she's definitely one of the best candidates for being a really great side character. And as far as I'm concerned, she might as well already be the next candidate for Straw Hat Pirate. I always say that when a new character is introduced, and she's probably not going to be a new member. It's just been such a long time since we've had a new member of the crew that I'm just really waiting to see something like that happen, and she has a really unique character design. The fact that she's a bunny girl is really funny. Not only that, but she's incredibly bipolar like a lot of the other members of the Mink Tribe. I like how she brings her very own provisions on the ship, which is basically all carrot related, because guess what? She's a rabbit, that's the joke. But what's really funny is that Luffy decides to steal one of her carrots and starts to eat it, and she just lunges right at his throat and starts to bite it. And I was just immediately reminded of the evil rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Hell, when I was even reading that, I even reacted the same way as King Arthur. Just, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on? And the only way he's actually able to stop Carrot is by patting her on the head. Basically, they just treat the Mink Tribe like pets and they're completely satisfied. I think it's a really funny element that they are going to be bringing her along. She is just so freaking adorable, and she seems like she's going to be a fun character, and the initial Zou arc did show us that she does have some fighting abilities, so I'm sure we're going to see some really cool action scenes from her. The very end of the chapter, however, is where things start to get really crazy, because we have these male seagulls which come up and they deliver some mail to a lot of different people, the Straw Hat Pirates, and the brand new newspaper, which claims that Baltigo, the head organization of the revolutionaries, has been completely destroyed. That's right. It looks like Jesus Burgess and the Blackbeard Pirates and their entire group, which infiltrated the island, actually managed to have a pretty successful mission. I don't think that the revolutionaries are out of it yet. In fact, I don't even think that this was their true main base. I think this is a way of sort of trying to bait out some more enemy pirates, and I can't wait to see really what happened at this battle. You know we're going to get a flashback sequence. The question is, did the revolutionaries get their asses handed to them by Blackbeard and his crew? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Blackbeard and his crew might as well be the main villains of the series. So I can imagine that they probably did a lot of damage, but the fact that you had a lot of the head members of the revolutionaries there, frickin' Sabo was there, I even think maybe Dragon was there. That's a really big deal, and I can't wait to see, like, why they were even attacking them in the first place. I mean, obviously, Jesus Burgess wanted to figure out where these guys were located, and he probably wants to get a little bit of revenge against Sabo, because Sabo just completely stomped him throughout the entire Dressrosa arc. But I can't wait to get a flashback to this entire sequence, because it seems like something that I would have really liked to see. Like, I wish they would have dedicated a couple of chapters to this big battle, but honestly, they wanted to keep it very secret for a reason, so I can't wait to see why that is. That being said, what's the rundown on this week's chapter of One Piece? This was a really great read right here. There were so many classic characters appearing in this chapter, and it just put a big smile on my face the entire time. I love that we got to see the return of Vivi, who is one of my favorite characters who, despite the fact is not with the Straw Hat crew all the time, I do consider her a member of the crew, just because of all of the things that they went through, the X's on their arms. You guys remember all those classic moments. And she's just as fun in this chapter. She's so much more adventurous than she used to be. She's so excited to just get out on the ocean, and something about that is really infectious. The rest of the chapter is, of course, dedicated to a lot of new characters, a lot of returning characters like Stelly, who they did not show in full. They just say his name and you get to see him from behind, but when you hear that name, you're reminded of everyone's favorite little douchebag from that Sabo arc. So I cannot wait to see how his character has evolved. It looks like he's still basically just a big dick. So we're just going to have to see more from him. Not only that, but it was funny to see Princess Shirahoshi, who was completely freaking out about actually going to the surface because she originally just wanted to go with Luffy, but they reassure her, we don't even have to travel far. We literally have to float up. It's not really a big deal. I think we're going to be able to get through this. And like I said, there's some other characters who appeared in this chapter that really just made me do a double take, like the return of Wapole, who is definitely one of the goofiest One Piece villains of the series, who, you know, has basically, things have worked out for him in a way. You know, after having his ass handed to him by Luffy and completely being destroyed and sent away, he now has his very own kingdom that he rules himself, the Black Drum Kingdom, and he seems pretty happy with his current situation. And I'm pretty sure they're not even going to Reverie, like they don't even really give a crap about that type of thing. Really, it's going to be all of like the respectable kings and maybe even the ones who even have their own special motives. I can't wait to see all of these characters in one room together, especially because now that a lot of them have been more established, seeing them interact with each other I think is going to be really interesting. And this is something that's been like building up over the course of a long time, like getting to this moment, because this is going to be another one of those springboards for things that are going to be happening later in the series, and maybe even giving us some stuff that's going to hint towards more of the finale of the One Piece series, especially because this is an event that only takes place every 4 years. So there are going to be some important things going on here. I'm sure they're going to bring up everything that happened at Baltigo, the Straw Hat Pirates, not to mention the frickin' 4 emperors themselves. It's an exciting time to be a One Piece fan. Classic One Piece fans are going to love it. New One Piece fans are going to love it. There's a ton of new characters, lots of funny moments, amazing character dialogue, and lots of cameos from this week's chapter. This is a chapter that just flew right by as I was reading it, and it's getting me really excited for the next arc of the series. So I loved this one a lot. I don't think it was a perfect chapter. I think there were a few cameos that really just didn't need to be there. I felt it was a little too wordy at times, but I loved the chapter. I loved the cliffhanger ending, so I am going to give this one right here a 4 out of 5. A super high quality chapter of One Piece that any One Piece fan should definitely check out. If you're watching the anime, if you're reading the manga, check this one out. You're definitely going to see something you like. But if any of you guys read this week's chapter of One Piece, why don't you tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Did you have a favorite character cameo in this week's chapter? What did you think of Carrot joining Luffy on his journey? And what's the deal with Baltigo being destroyed? What do you think actually went down there, and what do you want to see from the rest of that in the One Piece series? Please tell me in the comments section below. Did I ever tell you guys that you are awesome? Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to, please smash that like button and share this video with all of your friends. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, please follow us. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. You guys can also follow us on Facebook and social media and all that other stuff. It's all in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!